Over the last several days, the new Syrian U.S. puppet government has been slaughtering innocent Syrians, and you may not have heard about it because all of a sudden the U.S. doesn't seem to give a damn. Unfortunately, since the overthrow of Bashar al-Assad, there has been non-stop conflict in Syria. And the truth is, it's because people are tired of them letting Israel and every other country do what the hell they want to do unchallenged in the area. In response to this, it looks like what a lot of us predicted would happen has come to pass. Syrian religious minorities are being slaughtered, specifically Syrian Christians. The Syrian government is killing its own, the very thing they accused Assad of doing. So many Syrian Christians have been targeted that over 7,000 had to run to a Russian Air Force base to take refuge. Now, like I said, if this were to happen under Assad, all of you all would have already known about this, but even if it wasn't really happening, they would have still lied and said that he was doing this, because that was the excuse that they've used to overthrow him and justify installing a new government. The very specific excuses of attacking his own people and protecting religious minorities. And we said that's bullshit. As a matter of fact, at the start of all of this, Ben Shapiro actually came out and said the quiet part out loud. He said, yeah, we know that religious minorities all over Syria are being slaughtered and innocent people are being slaughtered. However, Hezbollah has been weakened. Okay. Oh yeah, and also Assad's not there. Oh yeah, and Hamas has been weakened. And Iran has been weakened.
Okay, there were significant human rights predations against Christians on the ground, not only in the areas controlled by Sunni terrorists, but also in the areas that were controlled by Shia terrorists. Again, is any of this wonderful? It isn't. But the one thing that is an upside is that the Iranian crescent is dead. Okay, the Shia crescent that, again, stretched all the way from Iran all the way across to Lebanon, that is now dead. What does that mean? It means that the Iranian regime is actually in quite real trouble here. All of their biggest proxies are gone. Hamas, gone. Hezbollah, gone. Assad, gone. That means the Shia influence game is beginning to wane. It's beginning to end. The Houthis are basically isolated down there in Yemen. The Shia regime in Iran still has impact in Iraq, but internally they are much, much, much weaker right now.
Still waiting about the part about where y'all were concerned about innocent civilians, but let's hear more.
Meanwhile, Israel in the south has the Golan Heights. And anybody, by the way, who thought that it was a good idea for Israel to give up the Golan Heights, yeah, you're an idiot. Okay, it's a good thing Israel has the Golan Heights. Otherwise, you'd have Sunni terrorists sitting up top over the Lake Tiberias and firing down into the valley in Israel.
And his final conclusion, this is all great for Israel. And it's important to remember at the beginning of all this, it was Israel who went in and took advantage of Assad being overthrown. It is Israel that HTS and the new Syrian regime is refusing to defend itself against, as it steals resources and land from the people of Syria. And we also know that Israel actually has a history of working on behalf and alongside regimes known for persecuting religious minorities. Now, in the immediate future, all of this doesn't directly benefit the United States. However, in the immediate future, considering Israel already has boots on the ground in Syria, this does benefit them. And to a large degree, what Ben Shapiro said would happen, and said so flippantly, actually did come to pass. No one has benefited more from this regime change than Israel. I mean, just look at the way they're covering it. The government sent reinforcements and imposed curfews in response. At first, the casualties mainly involved those fighting on both sides. But as clashes went on, civilian death tolls skyrocketed with many people shot at close range. You see how they're using dodgy, abstract terminology like government instead of mentioning the leader of the government, al-Sharaa, or saying that there has been casualties on both sides instead of using emotional language like there has been people slaughtered on one side more so than the other. Oh, and my favorite part, the fact that they don't mention Israel and the fact that they have boots on the ground right now and they haven't done anything to stop the fighting. And the fact the US hasn't made a single mention on what they plan to do to stop this fight, this violence that they have directly and indirectly contributed to, or what their quote unquote red line is, because they love talking about that when Assad was in power. It's almost as if the overthrow of Assad had nothing to do with Assad slaughtering innocent civilians, or the protection of religious minorities, or anything like the lies that they sold y'all. It's looking more and more like what Ben Shapiro said, that this benefits greater Israel. And to whatever degree the US has to help greater Israel, they will always do so, even if that means allowing the slaughter of innocent civilians and pretending like it's not happening because it's inconvenient for the narrative. We said that this was going to look like a Libya 2.0, and it's starting to look like Libya 2.0. And just like in Libya, all the powers involved with overthrowing Assad are going to pretend like they don't understand how we got here, that they didn't have a part in what's taking place right now, and basically ignore everybody being slaughtered because the US, Israel, and all of their allies couldn't mind their own fucking business.